Made with spoken.
Please come to Eden. Dr. Lillian Ruby, Crescent Region. My dearest Allison, I hope this letter finds you. Normally, I would have sent it by way of David, but since he is out of region on business, I will have to hand it off to your latest beau. Reginald? Is that his name? Like you, people call him many things. When we meet for drinks tonight at Christie's, I sure hope he doesn't mistake me for a potential suitor because Lord knows he is a very jealous young man. But despite that flaw, he does have genuine love for you, as do I, although of a different sort. Reginald is worried about you. He says you've gone dark and have been deep into some elaborate project which has completely consumed you. You've barely touched him in a month. You've just been buried in your beloved sketchbooks and mainlining Blue Sky. He says you climb out of bed in the middle of the night and disappear for hours, sometimes days. Mostly you wander down to the tar pit wall to paint, which is where I have seen you, but sometimes you rendezvous with other men. How does he know about the latter? Despite his meager resources, he's hired someone to tail you. I couldn't care less about your sex life. It's your abuse of Blue Sky that worries me. I don't know what grand vision you are trying to capture with your considerable talents, but you certainly don't need any chemical assistance to do it. And you damn well shouldn't be defiling your veins and killing half your brain cells with that crap. Remember, what Blue Sky first augments, it eventually destroys. But I digress. I am not writing this to scold you. I am writing so you will come home. Next month, your banishment from the Dome and the Crescent Board is officially over. I want to offer you a place to stay away from the madding crowd, where you can hopefully heal and begin anew. You might wonder why I'm making this offer, especially when I know that you think I didn't do enough in your defense. First of all, Allison, I did not cast a vote against you. The truth is, I pled your case as best I could, and then abstained, because frankly, I didn't know what else to do. Your unauthorized opening of the Northeast Gate just before Cali struck was done with the best of intentions, but as you and I know, it resulted in disaster. And someone as in tune with the outside as you are should have anticipated that. 20 lives were lost due to the stampede that followed, and, like it or not, that blood is on both our hands. You did deserve to be punished. Still, to banish you from the Dome and its leadership, even if it was only temporary, was a grave mistake. Because in doing so, we robbed you of your home and your balance. Or rather, we robbed you of one of your homes. That was dangerous, because I knew it would pierce you to the core, and the resulting bitterness and resentment would cause you to lose your way. Let me explain. The thing that made you special was that you were a bridge, a messenger. You moved easily between the Dome and the outside, and neither world owned you. You lived in the borderlands, outside the lines, and there is a wealth of power there. No one could have founded the Dome Youth Volunteer Corps except you. Even I couldn't have done it despite having spent most of my childhood in what is now the hinterlands beyond the 10th zone. Outsiders will open up to you. They won't open up to me, especially after they realize who I am. They say, "Hey, aren't you the boy wonder of the bayou?" and then get all starry-eyed and start asking me to do ridiculous stuff like recite pi to 100 decimal places. I'm not kidding. Some kid in the East 7th actually asked me to do that once. So I obliged him and went one further. I recited it backwards. As I recall, he was very impressed. Anyway, since you've been gone, the Corps has fizzled, and outsiders no longer have a voice in board meetings. At first, your sister Etta tried to carry your torch as best she could, but she didn't have enough fire in her belly to keep the flame lit. Now there's no one besides me to remind the board that there is, as the tattoo around your wrist says, a world elsewhere, at least in a way they will hear. This may be hard to believe, but I secretly admired your defiance of the board in opening the gate. I defied them as well, since I built and then opened the underground shelters in the libraries and hospitals, and donated one of my labs, but I didn't shout my defiance, nor my increasing disgust with the board's callousness, to the rooftops as you did. In doing so, you gave the outside hope. They know that someone in the Dome is truly looking out for them, and that all board members aren't assholes. Someone is on their side who has enough resources to usher in real change. The Crescent has always been a tinderbox, and the devastation of Cali has made it even worse. Violence in the upper ninth, as I'm sure you're well aware, has reached terrifying levels. But it's not just the deep outside that's festering. Yesterday, just as dawn was breaking, a bomb went off not too far from my house in the second zone. It was poorly made and caused little damage, but it was enough to set people's teeth on edge. Now my next-door neighbor, who swore he'd never walk around armed, carries a concealed laser pistol, set to kill. It's only a matter of time before a bomb is planted by someone who actually knows what they're doing. It's crazy and exciting. The jig is up. The people are ready and aware. Which brings me to my offer of a place to stay. I already know you have been searching for this place, Reginald told me. Every night, dozens of shuttles skim the thick hinterland mist, and I know one of them has been yours. But chances are you will never find what you seek, and that's because the place conspiracy theorists have dubbed Eden is only a tiny speck in the vast dead moonscape that comprises the hinterlands. But it does exist. It's situated on my family's old land. It's where I first tested the soil rehabilitator I synthesized all those years ago that helped birth Ruby Biotech. It's like an island of heaven in a vast ocean of hell. Plants sprout from the soil, as they should. You still have to wear a haz suit outside, but the air is much lighter and you don't tax your breathing apparatus as much. There is some insect life around and a few small lizards. There are a few modest cottages. And beyond those cottages is a living, breathing lake. I admit I cheated on the lake. I moved the earth, flew in the water, and stocked it with flora and fauna I cloned. And for the first 10 years or so, I had to keep tweaking the damn thing so it wouldn't die. I don't know how many credits I sank into it, but gradually I had to tweak less and less, and about 15 years ago, I stopped having to intervene at all. Everything found its own balance, just as it should be. It's not exactly as it was before. There is no way it could be. Our arrogance and short-sightedness have forever altered the planet. But there can be a place for us in this new world if we are willing to humble ourselves long enough to listen for the earth to tell us what our place might be. That's the one thing I've learned from this experiment, which has taken most of my adult life. Sometimes you have to stop doing things by force of will. You have to know when to let go. My mother spent her last few years at Eden and loved it there, and this was before it had become completely self-sustaining. She said it gave her a profound sense of peace, despite the fact she had to wear one of those high-tech space contraptions anytime she wanted to sit out on the front porch. She preferred it to the cottage I bought for her in the dome, where the perfectly programmed weather and the sterile environment always made her feel like she was living in someone else's tin can nightmare. Recently, I've been spending a lot more time at Eden. I've never cared much for the dome, and out here, I'm closer to the deep outside. I can better monitor my rebuilding efforts from here. Plus, it's comforting to have my ancestors sleeping close. In the morning, I watch the mist rise off the lake, and sometimes I imagine I can see their faces. Anyway, Allison, I think a stay out here would do you good. There's plenty of inspiration for your artwork. You will also get to see what is possible, as well as what is not. Plus, I think this place will give you the same sense of peace as it did my mother, so that when you return to Crescent Dome, you can continue your fight for justice with an open and rested heart. I have never been a big fan of magic, but I do know how intent can color the will. Noble actions undertaken with a bitter heart often have results that are inside out. In other words, if you continue your fight from the same bleak place that I see as the source for your recent artwork at the tar pit wall, you will only bring darkness and destruction in your wake. I don't think that's what you want. I think you want to save the Crescent as much as I do. So consider this letter my invitation. Please come to Eden. If you would like a preview, I can meet you next Thursday night after 9 p.m. CST at the tar pit wall east side under your painting of the Bleeding Lily. I won't look like myself. I'll be wearing a cheap-looking black haz suit with a neon orange patch on the right knee and have a silver dagger stuck in my boot pocket. I won't be wearing my glasses. From there, we will walk about a half a mile to my shuttle, and I will fly you to my tiny paradise. The trip will be very low-key. I won't lecture or pressure you. I'll just give you a tour and let you get a feel for the place. All I ask is that you come alone. Love, Uncle Lillian. P.S. A while back, I mentioned something about letting go. I am willing to let it all go. Ruby Biotech, everything. In order to save the Crescent. It's now or never. I have more wealth than anyone could possibly want or need. If my home region was at peace, I would die a happy man.
Professional audiobooks in a click. Spoken.